Welcome to Natasha's Kitchen. Today we are going to do prime rib with an au jus gravy as well as a horseradish sauce. And I've never done prime rib before, so this is going to be my first time working through it. If you find my videos helpful, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. So we are having a neighborhood holiday progressive party. And so there's going to be 10 people over tomorrow, and we are going to serve prime rib as well as a salmon Wellington. And for the prime rib, I wanted to do this. I've never done it before. Went to Sam's Club. They did not have a standing rib roast, so I got a boneless ribeye roast, which is apparently about the same thing, but I don't have the bones in it. But this is what I'm going to use for my prime rib. And the steps I'm going to take, we're going to do a 24-hour dry brine, which I'll show you how to do. Then it's going to go on my Traeger pellet grill for a couple hours till it reaches the temperature I want, and then we're going to finish it in a 500-degree oven to brown up the outside. And then tomorrow I'll be making the au jus gravy as well as the horseradish sauce. So I'm going to get it out of the package, and I'm going to show you just how I salt it and what I'm going to do for the dry brine. They did a nice job trimming this piece of meat, but what I'm going to do is just take a sharp knife and just lightly score some of the outside of the fat to let some of that salt get down in there. I'm not cutting into the meat. I'm just lightly scoring the fat. And let's look at the other side. That side's fine. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I have 2 tablespoons of kosher salt here. We're going to liberally salt the entire piece of meat and let that sit uncovered in a refrigerator for 24 hours. So I'm going to start kind of high, make it snow down on the meat like this, and I'm just going to go all over the entire piece of meat and put that whole 2 tablespoons of salt on there. If you've never dry brined red meat before, you should try it sometime. The salt will actually dissolve into the meat, and it'll flavor the meat all the way through. It seems to make it more tender and seems to make it taste real good. So I have completely salted this entire rib roast, and it's now going to sit uncovered in the fridge for about 24 hours, and we'll see you tomorrow. Here we are. It's the next day, and we've been cooking for the last couple hours, getting ready for our neighborhood progressive dinner. And I took the prime rib out of the fridge about an hour ago, kind of let it come to room temperature. So this was salted and it sat in the fridge for 24 hours uncovered. Now I preheated my pellet grill outside to 250 degrees. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to brush on some canola oil on the outside all over. And I bought this Traeger prime rib rub. I'm going to cover it all with that. I'm going to stick my wired meat thermometer inside, and the plan is we are going to cook this for probably about 3 hours at 250 degrees. I don't know the exact amount of time, but we want an internal temperature of 120. Then I'm going to pull it off the Traeger, and we're going to finish it in the oven. So I'm going to prep the rest of the prime rib right now. All right, here we go. We're almost done coating it with the Traeger rub. Got a nice coating on here. I'm going to wash my hands off real quick. Okay, and if you don't have a wired meat thermometer, you need to get one. These things work great. They're kind of grill safe and oven safe. Well, all I'm going to do is take this probe here and stick it about halfway into this nice big roast here. There we go. And then all I do is attach it to this, and then this is going to beep when it hits 120 degrees. So now I'm going to go and put it on the Traeger grill. All right, here we go. We're going to put it on the Traeger grill. We're right at about 250 degrees. And pop this open here. Put that beautiful piece of meat on there. I'm going to plug my thermometer in. I'm guessing it's going to be about 3 hours, but we'll see, and we'll see in a little bit. I'm going to make a horseradish sauce to go along with the prime rib. And I found this on a blog called Natasha's Kitchen. Shout out to Natasha's Kitchen. And here's what's in it. It's a half cup of sour cream, 2 tablespoons of prepared horseradish, 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, 1 teaspoon of cider vinegar, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper, and some chives. I don't have fresh chives, so I'm going to use some dried chives. So I'm going to mix all this up in a bowl, and we'll see how it tastes. Okay, I've got that all mixed up, and let's see how it tastes. Oh, that's going to be good. Oh, we get a little bit of the horseradish zing. It's a good sauce. Now, next up, we're going to make the au jus gravy. Now I'm going to make the au jus sauce, and I'm going to double this recipe. I found this on the woodenskillet.com, and it sounds great. So shout out to the woodenskillet.com. I'm going to double the recipe. So I don't have any drippings from the prime rib yet. You're supposed to add that now because it's on the grill outside. So what I think I'm going to do is when I finish it in the oven, if there's any drippings then I'll add it to the sauce. But I'm going to pre-make the sauce. So it is going to be 2 cups of beef broth, 4 tablespoons of dry red wine. I've got Cabernet Sauvignon, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, and then some salt and pepper. So that's it. So what I'm going to do is put all that in a pan. I'm going to bring it up to a boil, and I'm going to reduce it down by about 25% or 1/4. And then I'm going to let that sit and see how it tastes. And then in a couple hours, when everyone's over, and if I have any drippings from the oven, I'll add that to that. And we'll see how it turns out. So that's what I'm going to do. So I've brought the beef broth, the red wine, and the Worcestershire sauce up to a boil. And like I said, I'm going to reduce that down by about 1/4. And then we'll add whatever beef drippings we get when that's all done, and we'll see how it tastes. We hit 120 degrees on the prime rib, so I took it off the Traeger and I brought it inside. I'm going to let it rest now for about 45 minutes or so, and then we're going to put it in a 500-degree oven to kind of brown it all up when we're ready to eat, and that's going to be in about an hour. And I'll show you that as well. So did a fun little trick. So the way we do our Neighbor Progressive is we go to one neighbor's for cocktails, and then the next neighbor we go for appetizers, then we come here for dinner, then we go to another neighbor's for dessert. Super fun. But I needed to monitor my temperature from the neighbor's house. So I took our security camera, I took it off the mount, and I had it on the grill looking at the thermometer, and then I could log in from my phone so I could see the temperature, and walked on down and took it off. So anyway, that's what's going to happen. This is going to sit for a while, and we'll bring everything together, and I'll show you how that happens. Here's something interesting when you're doing a bigger roast or bigger piece of meat. I pulled it off the Traeger when it was at 121 degrees to be exact. And it's just been sitting here under some foil resting, and it's already risen to 128 degrees. They call that carryover. So that's why you can take your food off a little bit early, because it continues to cook even if it's not in the grill or in the oven. Okay, the guests are starting to come over now, so we've got a bunch of things in the oven. The last thing I need to do now is I am going to smear some nice butter all over this, and then the prime rib is going to go in a 500-degree oven for about 10 to 15 minutes till it gets all nice and brown, and it'll get all reheated again. It's been resting for about an hour or so. So we'll see in a little bit. When I slice into it, we'll see how it looks. All the guests are over. We're having a good time, and it's the moment of truth. Listen to that. Yeah, it's the moment of truth to cut into the prime rib. I have no idea how it looks. Let's see how it looks. So I'm going to try to cut like 3/4 inch to 1 inch slices, and let's go right about here, and let's see how we did. Oh, yeah. Oh, I might drip a little bit on the floor, Heather. Sorry. But let's see here. Here. Look at that. All right. So my first attempt at prime rib looks great. Can't wait to dig in. And we'll see you next time on House's Kitchen.